Welcome to Azeroth United, a weekly podcast about World of Warcraft. My name is Denethar, and I am your host.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Patch Day in Azeroth, and we've got a great show lined up for you today. Happy Patch Day! That's right. Happy Patch Day, everyone. I hope you enjoy. Patch 11.2 Ghosts of Koresh is going live on the War Within servers today, sometime around 3 p.m. Pacific time. We'll see. Blizzard has actually been pretty good about getting it up on time, but, anything could happen when you're doing it live. So, it's very exciting. We've got a lot of content that we want to go over with the upcoming release. We've got all of the patch notes to discuss. We've got some of the undocumented features that Blizzard has announced separately. Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And before I get into all of that content, I'll do a quick roundup of what I got up to last week in World of Warcraft because, last week was an interesting week. So first of all, anytime you have a pre-patch week where it's, okay, the patch is coming next week and we've got stuff to do and whatnot, fine. But this week was a little weird because Blizzard decided that they're going to, instead of launching the patch and then a week later launching the season, they're actually launching the season today when they launch the patch. So what that means is anything that you haven't done for Season 2 yet, when the servers go down at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which by the time you hear this will be long in the past, it's too late. So this is not here's the 100 things that you should do before patch 11.2 hits. This is we're just going to talk about it. And if you missed it, you missed it. Big whoop. Your undercoins are going away. Your crests are going away. All that stuff will be going away today when you log on. The only thing that you will keep from Season 2 is your Valor Stones. You will not be able to transfer them to your alts anymore, but you will have whatever you have on every character at the start of patch 11.2. So, in Season 3 is not this is like a soft launch for Season 3, and we'll get into the schedule for all that, but it's a little weird. So I did a lot of cleanup on my characters. I had to make sure that I had everybody in the right place. I got my characters who I'm probably going to level up. I got them their belts. I didn't finish upgrading all the belts because it's a lot of delves to run, but you just gotta take your time. Now, I didn't realize at first that you could run level 1 or tier 1 delves and still get credit for the overcharged quests that you have to do from Dagran. So I'm over there doing tier 8 delves thinking, man, this is a lot of work. My character's item level 620 and I'm doing these tier 8 delves. No, I could have done tier 1 and just been done and over with. But that's why I don't give anyone playing advice. Like, don't listen to me when you're trying to figure out how to play WoW. I'm the worst person for that. So that's what's going on in retail WoW. Just getting all my characters ready for the patch. I'm not planning to go balls to the wall, full bore, whatever other euphemism you could think of. And I'm not going to drive it deep. This is really basic. I'm going to log on, do a couple of things, check out the new content, and really just try to relax and chill. And that's really what I've been going for these days in WoW. It's just I don't have the energy for that hardcore lifestyle anymore. That's Denethar of the past. In Classic WoW, is able to get some stuff on my or run some things on my hunter. We did AQ, we did Blackwing Lair. We killed Twin Imps, which was a really nice thing. It was getting close to the end of the day, and we barely managed to get it in, which that's usually how it goes. And so then the question was, do we try to do Sithun Trash, or do we just call it? And we wisely called it after we had one hunter attempt to do the Feign Death pull the entire raid into Oru's room hack. That one obviously didn't work, and so we called the raid. So it was really good, though. We got Twin Imps down. Really happy about that. We'll work on Sithun this week, tonight, actually. No, I think we're doing Blackwing Lair tonight. I think we've decided we're going to start with Blackwing Lair, make sure, because people are still getting upgrades from Blackwing Lair, and it's really important that, especially going into AQ, the difficulty ramp is so much higher going into AQ. You have to make sure you get all those, complete your sets from Blackwing Lair, you get those trinkets, Drakefang Talisman, Mind Quickening Gem, Rejuvenating Gem, all that stuff. You got to have it going into AQ. So if we just charge into AQ first and don't think of it, just go, this is the content, we've got to do this first. Yeah, okay. So maybe we're gonna learn the fights better or whatever, but ultimately it's harder to just do that without the correct gear. So we did start later than some of the other raid teams, and we've geared up pretty quickly considering, but we do still have a few upgrades that we need people to get. So there's that. I also ran some things on the Paladin. So I have a Paladin who's level, I think he's 33 now. And met some new people from the guild and ran stockades with them, and what was it, Nomergon, which was really cool. Really cool people, and liked hanging out with them. So the guild is just really nice. Everybody in the guild is great. I'm able to make friends, which is something that I've struggled with in other guilds in the past, where you get in the guild and you're like, okay, well, everybody's got their cliques and everybody's got their things that they do. This guild, there's so many people and everybody's so friendly. It's able to make friends. So Justin Tarsh, if you're listening, you guys are awesome. Right. So that's pretty much all I got up to this week in World of the Warcraft. I did not do anything in Mr. Pandaria Classic because, quite honestly, there's too much going on outside of that, and I just don't have the time. I really don't. So that's all I got up to. I really want to. It's tough because, as I said before, and I put out a short for my episode a few weeks ago about AQ and how I feel like AQ is the worst raid in vanilla, AQ 40, and it's the downfall of Classic or Vanilla Classic. And I do still believe that. I am having fun with the raid group, though. It's a really good group of people, and I'm having a good time. So I want to make sure that I'm being positive and being supportive of the guild, and not kind of downing on AQ, because you know what, I am having a good time, and we are clearing bosses, and we're not falling apart, which is what's happened in every other guild that I've been in. So maybe this is the one to break the curse, break the cycle. Adept Scholar Society, or ASS, as we lovingly call ourselves. I think that's the way to do it. So there you go. That's what I got up to last week in World of Warcraft. Aside from that, it's just kind of business as usual here at the old homestead. I'm still getting used to the summers in the Midwest, having lived in California my whole life, and it doesn't get quite as hot, but the humidity is just killing me. How do people live this way? Come on, this is ridiculous. So, I go outside to mow the lawn and I'm dripping sweat in 5 minutes. How is this a thing? How is this legal? I don't understand. So, my fellow Midwesterners, or however you call yourselves, I'm one of you now, and I hate the humidity. So, yeah, there you go. All right. Just had to throw that in there because it's humid. It's actually been nice the last couple of days, but the last prior to that, for like a month, it felt like it was just hot and humid every single day. So, all right, we're going to move on to the news, and then we'll start talking about patch 11.2.
It's time for the news.
In Blizzard news, so the first off, let's talk about this Mogushan Vaults thing. So if you didn't hear the news, what happened is Blizzard was supposed to release the Mogushan Vaults raid on July 31st, and then there was going to be The world bosses were going to release after Heart of Fear, and I don't know what the release date for that was. But regardless, it was supposed to just be Mogushan Vaults releasing in Mists of Pandaria Classic on July 31st. On July 30th, one day before, Blizzard not only opened Mogushan Vaults early, but they also released the 2 world bosses, Galleon and the Shah of Anger, or Shah of Fear, whichever Shah it is, the one in Kunlai Summit. So people started doing the content, and people went into Mogushan Vaults early. And Blizzard said, whoops, that we weren't supposed to do that. We released it early, and all of you who went in there and ran it early are going to get suspended. What? Yeah. So that's that happened. Yeah, players who entered Mogushan Vaults early are going to receive temporary suspensions. It's not long, just long enough for them to not be able to be eligible for the Race to World First, and I'm using air quotes for that if you're not watching this video on YouTube. And you can check us out on youtube.com/ at Azeroth United Pod. But yeah, they suspended those people, and so they were not eligible for the Race to World First, but they're back in the game now. It's just, it was kind of weird. The Blizzard made a mistake. People took advantage of that mistake, and Blizzard punished them for it. I mean, that's like if your mom leaves the vodka on the counter and you drink some. Now you're in trouble? What? This is crazy talk. Anyway, I just thought it was weird that that's how they decided to handle that. It seems very... It's a very embarrassed response. Like, oh my gosh, we really screwed up. We better punish you for that. So, yeah. Sorry to the people that got suspended. That's what you get for... being aggressive in your attempting to run content early. So, all right, let's move on to Modern WoW. We've got a Twitch drop that is starting today, August 5th. And it is the Shade Fur Brew Thief pet. So if you're not familiar with the Twitch drops, if you watch 4 hours of people playing World of Warcraft on Twitch, you will be eligible to receive this pet. You have to link your Battle.net account to your Twitch account. If you do that and you watch 4 hours of Twitch streaming, you will receive your pet. If you can do that anytime between today, August 5th, and September 2nd, you will get your little Brew Thief pet. He's a little meeksy, little panda-looking bear creature thing. He's cute. It's purple, violet-looking guy. He's got a little backpack on him and whatnot. So if you're looking for a cute pet in Modern WoW, then I would definitely suggest watching 4 hours of Twitch streaming. And I always suggest, and I always put it out there, that you don't have to, but it might be a good idea to find a small streamer and give them some support. Get on there, say hello. You don't need to be awkward about it. You don't need to say, hey, there's no one in chat. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. Just pop in, say hello. Hey, I'm really digging your stream. This is awesome. That's all you have to do. It'll give them some encouragement and make them feel good about themselves. And that's really what we want to do. So, yeah, get your Twitch drop, Shade for Brew Thief Pet, starting today, August 5th. All right. In the War Within, Season 3, Blizzard has made a few changes. So we're going to start off with this health adjustment. So what they decided to do, and this isn't unusual, they always increase the health pools per season. But what they're doing this time is they are giving us the exact numbers that they are doing to increase those health adjustments. And it's not all up. Some of these are actually being reduced. For Mythic Zero dungeons, on the first week, starting on the first week of Season 3, which is today, creature health is going to be reduced by 2%. And creature damage done will be reduced by 10%. That's a lot. That's pretty significant, especially for a Mythic Zero. And the goal there is they're trying to encourage people to run Mythic Zeros that first week, even if you don't have great gear. And it's just the 6 that you're doing Mythic Zero. You're not doing Tazavesh Mythic Zero. That won't open until next week. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. For Mythic Plus dungeons and for Tazavesh hard mode, which is the only mode that you can do unless it's Mythic Plus, creature health will be increased by 14% and creature damage will be reduced by 4%. So they'll hit a little softer, but they'll take more damage. It's just going to make fights take longer. Honestly, that's really all it is. For For delves and outdoor activity, both of those will see creature health increased by 10%. They won't hit any harder, but they're going to take a little longer to die, which makes sense. We're going to increase our gear by quite a bit, so they want to make sure that we're able to fight and feel like we're being challenged in the content. Because while it might be fun occasionally to go in and just one-shot things, like when we were doing the Collector's Bounty event, that doesn't feel good for running around and doing content. You also don't want to have creature health increased by 100%. That also feels terrible, where you're like, this is hard now, and I'm not enjoying this because these guys have way too much health. I think 10% is a good amount. It makes it just a little bit harder. And for people, especially in outdoor activity, if you don't have a bunch of Mythic Plus gear, then yeah, it's going to feel a little... it's going to feel a little harder as you start working your way up your gear. I'd say by the time you get to veteran gear, you're not even going to notice it. So there you go. That's the War Within Season 3 creature health and damage adjustments. It's not a big deal, but it is something important to make sure. And the fact that Blizzard called out specifically, here are the percentages we're going to increase. I think that's important. Blizzard's traditionally not been very transparent with us in this sort of thing. And here they're laying it out for us. Here's exactly what we're going to do. No questions asked. Here it is. So I think that's good. Good job, Blizzard. You guys are awesome. Right. Okay. Here's the big one for the week. And this is going to be included in patch 11.2, but it is not limited to patch 11.2. The Cooldown Manager and future updates. This is what Blizzard posted in their blog post. As Bellular pointed out in his YouTube video, is a very boring title, and it is. It's a very boring title. It has no pizzazz, but this is a tremendous update that we are getting from this blog post. So let's go through this. First off, they're making changes to the Cooldown Manager. Now, the Cooldown Manager, if you remember, was released in patch 11.1.5 to much disappointment, as players were like, well, this isn't really a good replacement for weak auras. This kind of sucks. You can't customize it at all. You can't change the buttons. People were creating weak auras to customize the Cooldown Manager. That's how bad it was. So what Blizzard did is they said, okay, we're going to listen to the feedback and we're going to make some changes. They say one of the strongest pieces of feedback we've received around the Cooldown Manager was that players want to customize their bars and frames to show only specific abilities or reorder them based on their preference. We're excited to share that we're adding new advanced cooldown settings for players who want to fine-tune and control what their Cooldown Manager displays. In addition, we are adding a lot more class and specialization abilities that players can opt into tracking. Here are some of the new settings that you can modify to update your Cooldown Manager with. And they list out. So we've got 6 here. Pick and choose which spells or abilities you want to display or hide. That was the first request everyone had. How come we can't choose what's on here? Number 2, change the order that the abilities display on the Cooldown Manager frames. Again, right off the bat, people are like, how come I can't move stuff around? Number 3, toggle whether mouse over tooltips and ability timers appear. Yes, thank you. Sometimes you want that information. Sometimes you don't. It just depends. Number 4, set whether abilities appear in the essentials or utility frame and whether buffs appear as icons or bars. And see, this one is really huge because having the bars on there, I love my bars in weak auras. And so when I was like, oh, it's just a bunch of icons, great. That's great. So giving us the ability to change something into a bar is huge. Show unlearned abilities if the player hasn't selected the talent yet. That's also huge because it gives you an idea of what's available to you even if you don't currently have it. And the 6th is search for specific abilities. Huge. Sometimes you want to be able to just type in the name. Just let me just do a quick search. All right, so they broke this down into a couple different components that they're basically adding these things in that weren't in there previously. So first off is debuff tracking. Another piece of feedback we've received is that players want the ability to track their damage over time effects and other important debuffs on their target with Cooldown Manager. We plan to let players opt into tracking their offensive cooldowns, their offensive dots in either a new frame or as part of an existing Cooldown Manager frame, like an advanced Cooldown Manager settings, We plan to populate this setting with all the potential abilities so players can pick and choose what they want to track. See, this is where you start to get better versus weak auras. Yes, you can do this with weak auras, but it's not super intuitive. And people actually have to look for it and find it. If you open up weak auras and you have no idea what you're doing, it's so confusing. And honestly, it's a little intimidating. And what Blizzard is going to be able to do is make this a user-friendly and easily approachable system or tool set that players can get in there and make the changes that they want. They can interact with it in the ways that they want up to whatever their limit is. So if you go, I just want to do this one little thing with it, fine. I want to completely customize my interface, also fine. You can do that too. It says debuffs will have different states indicating whether they are applied, missing, or about to expire in the pandemic window, or if they're on cooldown entirely. While the debuff from a spell is on your current target, the remaining duration of that debuff will be shown on that spell. That's fantastic. Some classes genuinely cannot function unless you can see the debuffs on the target. If you can't get that information easily, it's really frustrating, because if you're hitting multiple targets, how are you supposed to keep track of all of that information? So they're giving us a way to do it. It's so helpful to have that. So I'm really glad that Blizzard is just, they're going all in. This is not a, hey, we're going to make one small change at a time. They're changing a ton of stuff. All right, the next one is big defensive tracking. For some players, mostly tanks, we've heard that they want the ability to see if another player has used external abilities or buffs with a duration on them, such as Pain Suppression or Life Cocoon. To support this, we're adding an additional optional frame that can track the use of these external enhancements when they are active on your character. Again, this is huge because, especially in higher level Mythic Plus or Raid, you need to know who's used their cooldowns. The raid leader needs to know, the tank needs to know, different players need access to this information at different times. And so the fact that Blizzard is handing it to us in this context is huge. We cannot function properly at a high level unless we have access to this information. And if they're going to break the add-ons that are tracking this currently, which they've already done with Omni CD, we need to be able to do this. So this is really important. This is huge. I hope that it's able to keep track of things like kicks and interrupts, but we'll see. That might be something that they add in later on. So we'll see. But I think that's also really important to make sure we do that. All right. Next up is sound alerts. And this one's really huge. To alert players better when an ability or buff becomes available or is active, we're adding the ability to configure sound notifications on abilities on a case-by-case basis. If you'd like an audio notification tied to one of your class abilities, you can configure that specific ability with a unique alert. Now, this is something that I do on my Fury Warrior. I have other classes have this, but this, in particular on my Fury Warrior, I have when you whirlwind on Fury Warrior, your next 4 attacks are going to be cleaves, and so after 4 attacks, you need to whirlwind again so that you open up cleaves again. And if you don't, you're just hitting a single target and your DPS goes way down. So I have it set right now, when I have 1 charge of cleave left after my whirlwind, I actually get a goat bleeding sound that plays. And so I know my next ability needs to be whirlwind so that I can continue doing this. And my brain is triggered now. It knows that's if I hear that sound, I'm immediately pressing 4. Like, I don't even think about it. It's just 4. Boom. I know that's what has to happen next. And it works. It works for me. I've heard other people talk about how when something specific goes off, they might have a bear roaring or the sound of a gong going off. It just depends. And whatever you train your brain to listen to, it will work. And I know some people don't play with sound on. I get that. That's fine. I do. I play with sound on, and I feel like it's really important to me to have the sound. So I'm going to do that. And so I love this feature. I'm so happy that they decided to put this in. All right. Additional edit mode customizations. In addition to the above, we're also looking at some quality of life updates for the Cooldown Manager and its associated frames. And we're exploring other potential updates, such as resizing and repositioning elements of the Cooldown Manager with greater flexibility, saving different cooldown manager configurations, profiles that can be swapped between different types of content. In addition to the above, we're also taking steps to make the various portions of Cooldown Manager UI more accessible and discoverable in the options menus. Again, being able to customize your UI, we have the ability to customize our UI already. And the fact that the Cooldown Manager itself wasn't customizable was really frustrating. So giving us that flexibility to be able to say, hey, I want to do this. I want to move this over here. I want to adjust the size of this. I want to slide this one over to the left. I want to move this one up to the top. Whatever it is, giving us the ability to do that, that's what players have been asking for. Weak Auras does that. You can move things anywhere you want. And so if this is ever going to be a viable Weak Aura replacement, which is what Blizzard is really trying to do, this is something that they need. So I'm really happy to see this. I feel like this is really showing us that Blizzard is listening to the player base. They understand what it is that we want. They may not always give us exactly what we're asking for. You know, they're not going to hand us Weak Auras and go, here you go, it's the Blizzard Weak Auras. But they'll give us something that works. And this type of system, this type of utility, it has to be something that I can do, and I can configure my own Weak Auras. And it has to be something that if my grandma was playing, she could do. I mean, my grandma's dead, but you know what I'm saying. Anybody, there's WoW Grandma, the Twitch streamer. If she can't configure it, then, you know, it's just no good. So everybody needs to be able to do this and customize their own interface in their own way with the tools that are provided by Blizzard without having to get an external add-on. That's really important. And so I'm really glad to see that Blizzard is taking this seriously. Where are they going to take it in the future? Well, they close this out with looking ahead. As we look forward to introducing these improvements and future updates, we remain committed to refining and expanding these features based on your feedback. We look forward to supporting the wider community and their needs as we continually iterate on the Cooldown Manager. You can check out the Cooldown Manager in its current iteration on the live realms by opening the game menu, blah, blah, blah. All right, let me tell you how to get to it. So when the servers go live for patch 11.2, when you get on and you're checking out all the new content, make sure you take a look at the Cooldown Manager, see what Blizzard has done, see where things are currently, and give it a fair shake. Because whether you like it or not, whether you're listening to me and going, Denethar, you're an idiot, what are you talking about? Fine. You can think that all you want, but this is the future of WoW as far as cooldown and debuff tracking. Weak Auras is going to go away. We will not have Weak Auras, at least not in its current form. It will not exist in that form forever. So you need to start using this and get used to it. Give feedback to Blizzard. Don't just complain. Give actual feedback. Hey, it would be great if this feature could do X, Y, Z. Don't worry if it sounds outlandish. Just tell them. Let them decide whether or not they can do something. That's not up to you to decide. You're not the game developer. You just tell them what you think it should be able to do, or something that you don't like that it's currently doing. I don't like that it snaps when I move the icon over to this side. Fine, tell them that. Tell them I want to be able to resize the icon by left clicking on it and dragging with my right mouse button. Okay, tell them that. They might not do that for you, but if you don't tell them, then they'll never know what it is that you want. So submit your feedback to Blizzard. Make sure that you are being constructive with that feedback. And I mean, we may not get what we want, but at least if we don't try, then we certainly will not get what we want. So there you go. All right. This Cooldown Manager / Weak Auras thing has really been, it's been a big deal for a lot of people. You know, there were all of the YouTube videos that went out. Is this the death of add-ons? Blizzard's war against add-ons? I did a podcast episode about the war against add-ons because honestly, that's what it felt like. But now that we're looking at this and we're realizing what it is that Blizzard wants, and this is what I said in the episode, this isn't about trying to get rid of these add-ons. This is about Blizzard coming up with their own solutions to them in a way that gives players the functionality. They don't need to do a like-for-like comparison or transfer. They're not going to create Omni CD in the game exactly as it currently exists or as it existed. They're not going to put Weak Auras in the game exactly as it exists currently. They're going to give you those tools in a slightly different, more Blizzard specific way. And so if we can accept that and accept that We might have to make adjustments as players, but we'll still get the information that we need. That's really all that matters. So yeah, if you want to look at this, there's some really good screenshots in there. They did say that these screenshots are mock-ups, so don't expect the system to look exactly like this when it goes live. But yeah, this is coming, and I would definitely recommend using it and giving feedback to Blizzard. All right, let's move on to this week in World of Warcraft. Okay, this is the War Within Season 3, Week 1. I don't think there's any affixes this week because I don't think there's any Mythic Plus this week. So Season 2 is over. You will not be able to run Season 2 Mythic Plus pool anymore, and the Season 3 Mythic Plus pool won't start until next week. So I believe, and I don't know because the servers aren't up yet, but I believe there is no Mythic Plus this week, which is weird for a middle of the expansion season, but I like it. I think this is the way to go because it always felt weird running last season's Mythic Plus in the first week of a new patch. So I don't know, maybe this is the way it's going to go in the future. Blizzard is just trying this. And so if it works, great. If it doesn't work, okay. But they're trying. Blizzard is cooking, people. All right. So War Within Season 3, Week 1. Here's the content that's available for you to do as far as the seasonal content. You're going to be able to do heroic dungeons. So the existing dungeon pool minus Tazavesh. I don't believe Tazavesh is available this week. I don't know if Tazavesh will be available heroic or not. That would be the Streets and Gambit heroic. I don't know. We'll have to see. The other dungeons are going to be Ecodome Aldani, which is the new one, Arakara City of Echoes, the Dawnbreaker, Operation Floodgate, Priory of the Sacred Flame, and Halls of Atonement. Those are the Mythic Plus pool dungeons, so those will be available for heroic. Those will also be available for Mythic 0. Again, no Tazavesh. This one we know Tazavesh will not be available for Mythic 0 this week because Tazavesh is only going to be available in hard mode in Mythic 0 difficulty. So the screenshots that we saw from the PTR said that the mobs are going to have 120% health and damage increase, and the minimum required level is 707. So, and it's equivalent to about a Mythic Plus 10. So, yeah, you're not going to want to tackle this right away unless you've got a really strong group and really good gear. But when you do, you'll get some pretty good rewards for you. So, but that's not available this week. Just Mythic 0, the 6 dungeons that I said before will be available. The other content that will be available this week is delves. So you'll be able to do any delve that you want, but it will not be bountiful because we will not have access to bountiful keys this week. Those will start next week. So you can go do your delves. You can get your delves leveled up to tier 8 or 11 or whatever it is that you want. Here's the thing. Great Vault rewards are starting this week. So if you run a bunch of Mythic Zeros and a bunch of delves, tier 11 or tier 8 or whatever, however high you feel like going, tier 8 is probably as high as you need to go, honestly. But if you want to open up all the way to 11, you can. You'll get Great Vault rewards next week. So when you log on, you're looking for something to do, you've done the campaign, the first 3 chapters, and you checked out the new world events, and you fought the world boss, and you've done all that stuff. I don't know if the world boss is active this week. He'll probably be active next week. Anyway, the point is, if you do content, heroic dungeons, Mythic 0 dungeons, or delves, not bountiful, you will get Great Vault rewards next week from that content. So it's definitely worth filling up your vault at least as much as you can, and earning some rewards for next week, starting your Mythic Plus and or raid journey. Or if you're just running delves, honestly, it'd be great to have some extra gear for doing that. So check that out. Right. So that's the seasonal or the season content for this week. Like I said, I don't know what the deal is with Tazavesh heroic version. We'll see. The bonus event for this week is the Arena Skirmish event. You will get the Sign of the Skirmisher buff. Honor gains from Arena Skirmishes increased by 50%. You can also get the quest, The Arena Calls, from Archivist for Thrune in Dornogal to win 10 Arena Skirmish battles, and you will be rewarded with Conquest and Honor. The PvP brawl for the week is Shadowpan Showdown. Step into Tiger's Peak Arena and get ready for the Shadow Pan Showdown. You'll race for control of a center tower to activate one of two bosses. The first to kill the other team's boss wins. That's it. That's the whole thing. I mean, this one's fine. I don't really like I don't really like it. You know what? I'd say the brawls for me are about 50-50. Half of them are good, half of them are eh. So I know a lot of people don't like Warsong Scramble, but I love that one. So this one's okay. This one's kind of mid. It's right in the middle. I could go either way on it. It depends on my mood. But when you zone in, you'll get the quest Something Different to win a PvP brawl. And if you do so, you'll be rewarded with Conquest, Honor, and Marks of Honor. Okay. Going on this week, and I wanted to point this out. This is the final week of the Winds of Mysterious Fortune. So if you have some alts that you want to get leveled up, if you have some reputations that you want to fill out, this is the week to do it, because first of all, we're starting off the War Within Season 3. We've got patch 11.2. So those reputations for patch 11.2 are not affected by this. But if you haven't you haven't finished up your Goblin reputation, your cartels, all of that, even the earlier ones, or if you wanted to go back and do the Dragonflight reputations, this is a good week to do it after you've done all the new 11.2 stuff. You don't have to do that. You can just skip all of the new stuff and say, I'll do the old stuff, I'll do the new stuff next week. However you want to do it. Winds of Mysterious Fortune is still available this week through August 12th. So just keep that in mind. If you've got some alts you want to get geared up for Season 3, this is definitely the week to do it. In other events, the Trial of Style is going on right now. It will run through August 8th. Dust off those pauldrons and compete in a fashion competition of Azerothian proportions. Speak to a transmogrifier NPC in any major city to participate in the Trial of Style. So there you go. Trial of Style. For me, this is really just the free transmog week. I can change my transmog as many times as I want because of the Trial of Style. So that's a big plus for me. And then the Dark Moon Fair will run through August 9th. Meet Silas Darkmoon and his troupe, play games that test the mind and nerve, and behold the exotic sights from the four corners of Azeroth and beyond. I love the Dark Moon Fair. It's a great time. You can go ride the merry-go-round or the roller coaster, get your experience and reputation buff. You could do your profession quests to get knowledge points and skill points if you haven't maxed out your profession skill. You can do the games there to win your Dark Moon tickets for transmog or the mounts or whatever it is that you're looking for. You can get shot out of the cannon. You can fly through the rings. You can check out the concert. There's so much to do at the Dark Moon Fair. Dark Moon Fair is always fun with friends, or it's fun alone. However you want to experience the Dark Moon Fair, definitely go check it out, at least for the profession knowledge point quests. That alone is worth the price of entry. And there is no price of entry. It's free. All you have to do is pay 50 copper if you want to get teleported there. But if you go there yourself, then it's free. So, there you go. Dark Moon Fair in town through August 9th. And that's what's going on this week in World of Warcraft. Aside from patch 11.2, it's a pretty good week. Got a lot going on, and I hate the Arena Skirmish event, but aside from that, it's fine. And check out all of the available things going on around Azeroth, or check out the patch 11.2 Ghost of Koresh. Travel to Koresh, set up shop in Tazavesh, and enjoy that content. So we'll talk about that next when we get to the main topic of the week.
It's time for the main topic of the week.
All right, it's here. Patch 11.2, Ghosts of Koresh will be live on servers by the time you hear this podcast. At least it should be. This is the final patch, or the final major patch of the War Within. So I feel like we're in for quite the ride. It's going to take us into the next expansion. We'll kind of have an idea of what's going on there. So yeah, this is really exciting. I know a lot of people were speculating what we were going to do this patch. Are we going to go to the root lands and talk to the Haranir and Orwena, and are we going to go to are we going to go to Koresh? Are we gonna go somewhere else? Are we gonna go to Silvermoon? And that's why we're there in Midnight. There were a lot of speculations about this patch, but we are going to Koresh. Tazavesh will be our new hub city, and it's going to be really cool. I think, I mean, I've checked this out on the PTR. I really liked what they've done. The zone itself is really cool. One of the great things about this zone is that you do not have to do any storyline in order to fly. You show up and you can fly right off the bat. You can fly in Tazavesh. So that's fantastic. If you hate going to a new patch zone and you're like, God, I hate having to grind out flying for 3 weeks. No, you could just fly right off the bat, or skyride. So it's actually built into the zone. You have to fly because Koresh, if you think like Outland, how it's broken up into the little islands and you have to kind of fly from one to the next. You know, before you could fly, there were little bridges that could take you around. In this zone, there are no bridges. There's nothing connecting. You literally have to fly from one section to the next. So that's really cool. Or you can take a flight path when you get into phase diving. We'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, Koresh is a really cool zone. I love the design. I love Tazavesh. Tazavesh is a fantastic hub city. There's a lot to do there. There's a lot of quests. There's NPCs there that you can fight. There's NPCs there that'll help you with stuff. There's quest NPCs. All the good stuff that you would expect from a hub city is going to be available in Tazavesh. So, all right. Here's what's going on this week and what's coming up for the next 4 weeks, or the next 3 weeks after this week. However you want to break that up. We have 4 weeks on the schedule, people. That's what we're doing. Week of August 5th, that's this week. Chapter 1, 2, and 3 of the campaign. So you're going to start off the campaign. You're going to get in there. You're going to do some of the beginning stuff, and it'll set the table for the story. We'll discover who our new mysterious ally is. We've talked about it on this show before, and if you are not familiar with that, then if you've managed to avoid spoilers to this point, I'm not going to spoil it now. But we're going to have a new ally in Tazavesh, so enjoy that big reveal. Sorry, it's just still. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I also am like, really? The Season 3 dungeons will be available on Normal, Heroic, and Mythic 0. So you're going to be able to, the War Within dungeons will be on Normal, Season 3 dungeons on Heroic and Mythic 0, excluding Tazavesh. The New World boss will be available this week. I wasn't sure if that was going to be this week or next week. Reshinor the Untethered. So same thing. He'll drop a piece of Warbound gear every week for you. It might not be something that you can use on your main character, but it might be for an alt or whatever. All delve tiers will be available, but they will not be bountiful. So you will be able to do any delve you want. You just won't get a bountiful delve from it. So that's what you're going to do. And then Great Vault credit will begin this week. As I mentioned, if you run delves, dungeons, you'll get credit in your Great Vault for next week. The week of August 12th, Campaign Chapter 4 and the War Within Epilogue quests will become available. So you'll be able to check that out, find out where the story ends, and maybe setting up for patch 11.2.5. The Raid Season 3 will begin. Manaforge Omega Raid. We will see Normal, Heroic, Mythic, and Raid Finder Wing 1 will be available this week. Mythic Plus Season 3 will begin. So that's going to be Tazavesh Streets of Wonder, Tazavesh Solea's Gambit, Ecodome Aldani, Arakara City of Echoes, The Dawnbreaker, Operation Floodgate, Priory of the Sacred Flame, and Halls of Atonement. Tazavesh The Veiled Market hard mode will also be available on Mythic 0 mode. As I mentioned before, this is going to require item level 707, and the mob difficulty will increase by a substantial amount. So only go in there if you're ready for business to defeat the Huns. And that's the dungeon pool for the season. So Delve Season 3 will begin, so that will start your Delver's journey. You're going to be able to get your bountiful keys and do bountiful delves. The new challenge boss will be available, our new nemesis, which is Nexus Princess Kaiveza, and new levels and curios for Bran. So that will all be available starting the week of August 12th for delves. So if you're big into delves like I am, this will be a great week for you to get that going. Season 3 PvP will begin this week, August 12th. I'm not really doing PvP this expansion, so good luck to all of you arena players out there. I hope you have fun. I know that PvP is a little wacky this expansion. It was last time I did Arena was in Shadowlands, and it was a lot of fun. Right now, watching the Arena World Championship is really frustrating, and I wouldn't want to do that. So I feel bad if you're a PvPer and you're like, man, this sucks right now. It does. You're right. So that's unfortunate. And then your Great Vault rewards from week 1 will become available. So you'll start getting your whatever gear, probably hero track gear from the Great Vault. So yeah, that'll be really cool. So enjoy that. The week of August 19th, Manaforge Omega Raid Wingfinder. Manaforge Omega Raid Finder Wing 2 will become available, as well as the story mode raid. Not the follower raid, just the story mode raid, which is the final boss in a very simplified version so that you can see the final encounter and the final cinematic, if that's something you're interested in, which I know a lot of people are not, but I've done story mode. It's fine. It is what it is. It's not follower raids, which would be cool, but it's not that. It's just the final boss in a stripped down encounter with AI NPCs. So there you go. And then the week of August 26th, Manaforge Omega Raid Finder Wing 3 will become available. So, and that'll be that. We'll be done. Everything will be open and the season will be set. And then we'll start counting down the weeks until patch 11.2.5. Okay, the new system that is going to be available for patch 11.2 is the Rishi Wraps and the phase diving. They're kind of interchangeable with each other, or intertwined with each other, and they're not interchangeable. They're intertwined with each other. You need one to do the other. And so there's going to be a lot more involved in this. I'm not going to go through all of the details of it. Suffice it to say, the Rishi Wraps are an artifact cloak that you're going to be able to upgrade based on some of the content that you do. One of the things that Blizzard has said is that we're not going to be able to get cloaks from any other sources. So this is your cloak for Season 3. This is the only cloak you will get. You will not get anything in your Great Vault. You will not get anything in Mythic Plus. You will not get anything in the Raid. There will be no cloaks available, just this one, which I think is great. It's like in Legion when Blizzard said, okay, you're not going to get any weapon drops because you have an artifact weapon. Cool. That's great. I hope they do this sort of thing going forward, because it was really frustrating getting a belt drop in the Great Vault last season after I had the disc belt. That was annoying. But this isn't about that. This is about what Blizzard is doing right, not what they've done wrong in the past. And they did do wrong. They did me dirty. Okay, so the cloak, you'll be able to upgrade it with something called ethereal strands. And the ethereal strands are going to be items that you're going to loot from Delves, Mythic Plus, Raids, PvP, and Warrants, which is a new system we'll talk about in a minute. You can upgrade it 5 times, and each time you upgrade, you'll get a new ability. It's the same thing. You get a little tree, and then you have to just click your way through, and each time you click something, you'll get a new ability. Most of them are just passive things that'll happen as you go, so you won't have to really think about it. And yeah, basically it'll take 5 weeks to level this thing up. Each time you power up, each of those abilities are going to add something that you're going to get a little bit of a benefit for. So, for example, you might be able to discover phase orbs that will increase your primary stat. Or you might be able to discover secret rooms in Delves or find hidden treasures around Karesh. It's just different things that you're going to get. You're going to get buffs. You're going to get different abilities that are going to make you a little bit better. It's not really game changing any of it. It's more of a it's kind of there. The system is 5 upgrades, and so we're just unlocking the 5 levels. And once we've done that, then the system is fully available for us. That's essentially how it works. So, and then you're going to be able to get these fibers. And the fibers are going to be for your secondary stats. When you first do the quest to get your cloak, you're going to get a fiber that's going to give you 2 secondary stats. Later on, you can get additional ones. You can purchase rare fibers from the vendor who got you your cloak, or you can have epic fibers crafted through Khazalgar tailoring. So tailors, you're going to be able to do that. That'll offset some of the loss of income from making bags for the bank, which we'll talk about in a minute. All right, now let's get into the phase diving aspect of this. So once you have your cloak equipped, you can phase dive. So you have to go to a phase conduit, when you click on the phase conduit, you will be able to phase dive, which will essentially, it's like a ARPG or it's like a augmented reality game where you see something through your screen that's not actually there, right? So think of phase diving as it's going to bring additional things into your screen that you couldn't see previously because they are phased, and you'll be able to interact with them in different ways. So the conduits that you use to enable phase diving are also travel points. So as you find the different conduits, you'll be able to travel to them like a flight path. It's much faster than skywriting, so that's a really cool way to get around. You'll be able to collect phase energy that you can use to power the Echo Domes. The Echo Domes is another feature that we'll talk about here in a minute. And you'll be able to get new currency, which is untethered coins. You can use those to purchase things like Valor Stones, Resonant Crystals, toys, transmogs, or whatever. And then phase diving will allow you to also fight different creatures, rare creatures, and different loot and things that you're going to be able to get while you're phase diving only. So it's something that you're going to want to do. It's probably a system that we're not going to interact with a whole bunch, but it is a cool feature that we're going to be able to do. And I do believe that we'll have to phase dive into the first boss of the raid. I didn't do any of the raid testing, so I didn't see that, but I believe that's how that's going to work. We have to essentially phase dive into his room, otherwise we will die before we start the encounter. So there's that. Okay. So that's the Rashidi wraps and the phase diving. Obviously, it's a lot more complex than that. I'm giving a quick overview because when you're just explaining something using words on a podcast, it doesn't sound quite as interesting as if you're actually doing it. So you're going to do a quest, you're going to have to complete some objectives, you'll talk to an NPC. There's going to be a lot more involved than just here's the things you're going to get. And you'll discover your own ways of using the system to benefit your particular style of gameplay. So that's the new cloak and the new phase diving system that's associated with the cloak. All right, let's talk about the Echo Domes. So the Echo Domes is one of the new world quests or the world event systems that we're going to do. This isn't an event. It's more like a thing that you have to go do. Think like Awakening the Machine, where you have to go do something, and when you complete it for the week, you'll get a reward. It's not scheduled. This isn't air quote time for fun. This is just go do it whenever you want. So essentially the way it's going to work is we're going to work with Venari. Yes, that Venari from Shadowlands. And we're going to... The Echo Domes are, if you recall from the Burning Crusade, those giant domes where there was wildlife inside of the dome in Netherstorm. It's the same idea. They are trying to regrow Karesh in some ways. And so the Echo Domes they're using to basically create this more... friendly environment on the planet Karesh. So we're going to help Venari with this. There's the way that we're going to interact with this system is it's not super clear from the patch notes, and I didn't check this out on the PTR, but essentially we're going to collect and transport creatures from other parts of Azeroth to the Echo Domes to help. Think like Noah's Ark, right? Like we're 2x2, we've got to line them up. We're trying to balance or rebalance Karesh's ecosystem. So you'll get quests to go get a specific animal and you have to bring it back. It's going to progress through multiple phases. So it'll grow and get bigger as you go through the phases. And as you add to the phases, you'll get more quests and open things up more. So, and then we're going to recruit specialists who will help us find this wildlife, and they'll give us specific quests to go, oh, go get this thing, go get that thing. The only one we know of is Hemet Nestingwary Sr., who I guess now he's a conservationist, so that's cool. After we met him in Dragonflight, where he was just driving the wagon around, so that'll be really fun. And then when you do your weekly quests, I guess there's going to be a meta quest that you have to complete. And once you complete that, you will get your Pinnacle cache for the week, which it'll be just like all the other ones that you'll get. The first 2 for the week will give you a piece of veteran gear, and the first 4 for the week will give you your keys for your delves. So that's the Ecodome system. It doesn't sound particularly like super compelling or amazing, but it's hey, here's a thing that you go do, and you're working on your Ecodomes, especially for players who aren't super big into Mythic Plus or raiding, and they just want to be able to go around the world and do stuff. this does sound like an interesting system, because it's like, okay, here's your quest for this week. Go get this animal. Go check this out. Go to different parts of Azeroth. Go to different zones. Talk to different NPCs. It's fun. It's just not a wow, this is amazing system, or it's not something obnoxious like the Super Bloom where you have to, oh, it's time. I've got to go do my Ecodome. No, just go do it whenever you want. The other system that we're going to interact with once a week is the warrant system. So again, this isn't something that's super clear. Blizzard has given us very scant information on it, but basically you're going to get a quest to summon and kill a different rare each week. And each person is going to get a different rare. So there might be some people that get this rare, some people that might get that rare. If you know somebody, they might have a different rare than you. It just depends. And it's going to be random each week. So the one you killed last week is not going to be the same one you kill this week. You'll get 3 quests that you have to do to complete, and you have to complete some sort of item to summon the rare. And once you've summoned him, you'll be able to kill him and get credit for the quest. If you don't turn the quest in right away, you can summon him again. I believe it's once a day. So if you have a friend who just needs to kill the rare, I just need to kill the rare, bro. Then you can summon that rare for your friend and you should be good. When you complete the quest finally for the week, you'll get reputation and ethereal strands, which, as we mentioned before, the ethereal strands are the thing that level up your cloak. So this is definitely a good way to do that if you're not interested in doing delves, mythic plus raids, or PvP. If you complete 4 warrants, you're going to get a bounty seeker pet. And then if you complete all 6 warrants, which takes 6 weeks, you will get the Terror of the Night mount. So there you go. That's the warrant system that's coming in patch 11.2. Okay, let's talk about delves. So there's a new delve, which is the Archival Assault. This is actually in the Azure Vaults in Dragonflight, and I believe we're going to get there through a portal in Karesh. So I don't think you have to actually travel to Azure Span. I think you can just take a portal there, but that's where the new delve is located. So it's I think that'll be interesting. There's going to be a new nemesis who, as I mentioned, is Nexus Princess Kaiveza, who we fought in Nerebar Palace. And yeah, she was annoying there, and I'm sure she'll be annoying this time as well. Her fight will probably be some sort of play on the boss fight from her in Dragonflight, so be ready for that. There's going to be a new mount, which is the Delver's Mana Skimmer, and if you kill Kaiveza on question mark, you'll be able to get the Mana Skimmer schematic hyperdrive, which is really cool looking. Now, this is a new thing they're adding for Season 3, and I think it's kind of interesting. This is the Delver's Race. So the Horde and the Alliance will compete head-to-head on which faction can complete the most delves in Season 3. And there's going to be a goal that you have to achieve, and whichever faction completes that goal first will have their banner planted permanently in the Dornogal Delver's headquarters, which is kind of interesting. It's like the Scarab event that they do in Silithus every year. So yeah, that'll be cool. And then when each faction reaches the milestone, players will be awarded with Horde and Alliance themed paint colors and emblems for their Delvish dirigible mount, no matter who finishes first. So there you go. That's the new Delver's Race thing that they're doing between Horde and Alliance. They're trying to keep the competition alive. I get it. It's fine. New stories will have been added to the following delves. Side Street Sluice, 2 stories. Excavation Site 9, 2 stories. Kriegwall's Rest, 1 new story. And Fungal Folly, 1 new story. The Sinkhole and Takrethan Abyss are no longer underwater. Thank Elune. Holy moly. That was the worst. Getting underwater potions and oh my gosh, I hated that so much. Why, Blizzard? Why do you do the underwater stuff? But thank you for getting rid of it. I appreciate that. It's really nice. And then we're gonna get a new trinket rotation for Season 3. So we'll be able to cycle through all the terrible delve trinkets this time as well, as long as there's not one that puts a fucking candle on your head. I hate that trinket. It's annoying. I don't like being in the middle of a fight and all of a sudden my character has a candle on their head. It looks so dumb. I hate that trinket, but you get it every single time. You're like, well, I guess I have to use this because it's better than what I had previously. It just looks dumb. So there you go. All right, that's the delves. And like I said, the delve system itself is not changing a whole bunch, but we are getting some new stuff in there. And the first week is just going to be all delves, no bountiful coffers. Starting in week 2, we'll be able to get the bountiful keys, and then that's when we're going to be able to really have a good time. I don't know if we can get bountiful keys in week 1, we just can't use them, or if we can't get the keys until week 2. Not sure about that. Well, I guess we'll see. All right, let's talk about the raid. Actually, no. We'll talk about the raid next week. So next week's episode is going to be the Race to World First for Manaforge Omega. We'll get into all of the ins and outs of that race, talk about the boss fights, talk about the new optional, I'm using air quotes again, optional boss, and what the race layout looks like. We'll talk about some of the guilds that are going to be involved in it, aside from the Liquid, Echo, and Method. We'll talk about some of the other raids, some of the Chinese raids. I'll struggle through reading some Chinese names, and yeah, there you go. So we'll do that next week on the episode. All right. Changes to items. Valor Stones. Valor Stones will no longer reset upon the start of a new season. I don't know if that's a going forward thing or if that's just for this season, but your Valor Stones will still be there when you log in today. Whatever you had last week or yesterday will still be there today. But you can no longer share them across the warband. So no longer transferring your Valor Stones across the warband, which is unfortunate, but what are you going to do? For Sparks, so for your Sparks, when you start getting Sparks, you'll be able to actually get 2 in the first week, which is what we've been doing. You get the quests, you get one, then you get the quest to get one, you turn that in, and then they give you a second one. They're just going to give you 2 for the first week, and then you'll get 1 each additional week after that. Here's the thing, though. Sometimes if you have an alt, or if you stop playing for a few weeks, maybe you went and played Miss Pandaria Classic, or you were playing Anniversary for a while, and then you go back, you can't remember, well, how many Sparks should I have? So they've included a new component or a new currency, which is called Starlight Spark Dust. And if you look at it on the currency tab, it's going to show you how many Sparks you've gotten. Simple. Why does this need to be complicated? Thank you, Blizzard. Why are they being so nice to us? Are you about to break up with us, Blizzard? You're being awfully nice. I don't like this. All right. So that's the Sparks. For the user interface, so the spell density, we're going to get a revamp of the spell density system. It's going to increase visual clarity of combat and encounters by reducing spell visual effects that do not communicate important information to the player, in addition to reducing visuals based on frame rate to improve performance. In other words, you can turn down everybody else's nonsense because it's not important. You only need to see the stuff coming from the boss. Okay, great. That's what I needed. Let's not make my video card cry any more than I already make it cry. Yeah, because I do. I make it cry. I insult its mother. And then the reduced settings should meet most players' needs for improving visual visibility of an encounter mechanics and performance. And Essential will provide the strongest performance-based reduction for players who need it. So basically, you're going to be able to choose from different named settings: reduced, essential, whatever. So it's just they're giving us a slider, and you can adjust it however you see fit. Play around with it, see what you like, and enjoy being able to actually see what's going on in the fight. All right, let's talk about the bank update. So this came up a couple weeks, I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Anyway, no, this actually came out right after I recorded last week. So the bank is getting an update. Let's start with that. It doesn't matter when this came out. Blizzard announced that the bank is getting an update. The character bank has been updated and now uses the same configuration as the Warband bank. So if you're familiar with the Warband bank, it's very similar to like your reagent bank or anything like that. It's a big giant bank full of 98 slots. And what they're going to do is they're going to give us the ability to have additional tabs for that are each going to be 98 slots. So no more having to put bags in your bank. Well, I've got a 16 slot bag in there, and then I've got a 24 slot bag, but I've got a 32 slot bag. No, each tab is going to be 98 slots of storage. Each slot is going to cost a different amount of gold, starting at 1 gold and going all the way up to 5,000 gold. So that's a little pricey, but you're going to get a ton more storage. But as compensation, Blizzard is removing the reagent bank and the void storage. Now, there's a lot of controversy around this void storage thing. Blizzard is actually said that they're going to be removing items from void storage, or when they move the void storage to the new bank, items in void storage that should no longer be there, items that were deprecated by Blizzard and that should be removed from the game. If they were in void storage through a bug of the system, they were able to persist in void storage. So think like items that will teach you a transmog. Well, when you use it, the item goes away. Somehow people were able to keep these items and put them in void storage. And then when Blizzard deprecated the item and said, we're going to delete these from the game, people kept them in void storage and they stayed there. So when the void storage moves to the bank, those items will disappear. People are complaining, oh my God, I'm going to lose my stuff. No, you're not. You already know that appearance. You don't need to keep it. It doesn't matter. It's fine. You're going to be fine. When you log on to the game at whatever point that you do, check out your bank, make sure you have all your stuff. If you don't, put in a ticket. I don't know if it's going to do any good, but definitely check that out. So yeah, that's the bank update. So a couple of things. The bank tabs are automatically unlocked on login. At level 80, all tabs are unlocked automatically. For characters below level 80, the number of tabs will be based on how many bag slots, including reagent bank and void storage, were available to the character before the update. That's for today. Now, going forward, if you create a new character, you have to buy your bank slots like normal. 1 gold, 100 gold, 500 gold, 1,000 gold, etc. So just keep that in mind. Your character, if you have a level 80, you should have all of your bank slots available to you when you log in. So again, if you don't and you feel like you're missing stuff, put in a ticket. There you go. But as a result of this, as I said, the reagent tab or the reagent bank will be removed. Any items that were in the reagent bank will just be moved to a tab in the new bank system, and the void storage has been removed. Again, any items that were in void storage will be moved to a tab in the bank system. So if you've been a pack rat for all these years and you've been keeping stuff every which way, it's all going to be in one place now. So you don't have to check all different things. It's all in your bank. So there you go. And that's it. That's what's coming in the bank update. Again, like I said, this is not a huge thing, but people made a big deal about it because Blizzard said they were taking away things. And if Blizzard ever says they're taking something away from you, people immediately get upset. This isn't a big deal. This is, it's just not a big deal. It's really not. So, yeah, there you go. That's what's coming in patch 11.2, Ghost of Koresh. This is the new patch update. It's very exciting. This is the final patch of the War Within. We will be getting information in a couple of weeks when Blizzard does the big announcement for midnight at Gamescom. It'll be on August 19th, and we will find out some more information about what's coming in the future at that point. As I mentioned previously, I will be on vacation that week, so I will not be doing a whole lot of coverage of that event, unfortunately, but I will do a podcast episode sometime after that to discuss what is coming in midnight. We also have the 100th episode coming up soon. That is going to be on, I believe it's going to be on August 26th, which is also the 2-year anniversary of Azeroth United. And I've already got some interviews that I've completed with people that I wanted to get on the show. And so we're putting those together, and hopefully we'll have a good fun episode, but that's all coming in the next few weeks. Next week's episode, as I mentioned, will be the Race to World First. And then we'll have an interesting guild drama discussion episode that I've got coming up as well. So I'll have that for you coming down. But that's it for this episode. So thank you so much for listening and for watching. I really do appreciate it. It is always a pleasure and a privilege for me to get on this microphone and speak to you. If you are enjoying the show and you'd like to help us out, you could consider giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You could also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or a comment on Spotify. Those all really help the distribution. So if you are able to do that, I would be very grateful. If you are watching this on YouTube, you could help us out by giving us a like, comment, and a subscribe. Those all help as well. If you are looking to get a hold of me directly, you can reach me on Twitter or on Blue Sky. I am at Denethar on both of those platforms. If you want to follow my YouTube channel, which is separate from the Azeroth United channel, that's at Denethar01 on YouTube. I do occasionally stream content on there and on Twitch, but it's fine. Just check out the YouTube channel. I've got some videos up there, and go ahead, feel free to make fun of them. And I think that's it. Oh, and the other thing that you can do to help out the podcast is you can support us through Patreon. Patreon is where people can give their IRL money to help out with the production of the show. I have several tiers that I've created on there, from a free one all the way to our paid friend of the show patrons. These, as I said, they give their real life money. They help out the production of the show. I really do appreciate it. I'd like to thank them now. Judge Omni, Stug Life, Thelial, and Greybeard. Thank you all so much. I really do appreciate it. You definitely help make Azeroth United possible. So thank you so much. And that's it. That's going to wrap up the show. Yeah, I think that's you forgot. I'm like falling apart here. You can check out all of our links at AzerothUnitedPod.com. It's got our Discord. It's got the Patreon. It's got the Twitter and Blue Sky for the podcasts. All of that is on there. So if you want to get a hold of the podcast in any way, or if you want to check out the Discord, go ahead and jump on into the Discord. We've got some discussions going on there. It's always nice to have people join. And we will be doing some town hall episodes here soon. I'm still working out the technology of that, which is why I haven't done it yet, because I haven't quite figured that out. I'm gonna have to spend some money on this, I think, with like a Riverside or StreamYard or something. I'll get that all worked out down the road. But in the meantime, go ahead and jump on over to the Discord. The link will be available at AzerothUnitedPod.com. So check that out and join the Discord. If you want to join the Patreon, that would be fantastic. If you don't, that's all good. I appreciate the support. As I tell everyone, for me, engagement is the highest form of currency. So if you just want to send me a message, send me a comment, put a comment in the YouTube video, Spotify, send me an email, whatever it is you want to do, I really appreciate it. And it means a lot to me. So thank you. All right. That's gonna do it for the show. Remember to be good to each other out there. That's a real life person on the other side of that keyboard, and maybe they want to RP as an ethereal, and you really think that's the dumbest idea ever. That's okay. You know what? You can still be friends and just smile and nod and just be kind to one another. All right. Take care. I love you all, and I'll see you in Azeroth.